Released in 2003, Jon Favreau's Elf would go on to resonate itself as a proper Christmas classic, winning over audiences and critics alike with its charming lead, its endearing characters, and compelling Christmas spirit. When I was a child, I saw this movie only a handful of times, but I have come to know several people who watched this movie multiple times every Christmas season, and I even knew someone back in high school who cited this as their absolute favorite movie of all time. So this year, I wanted to take a good hard look at Elf. I wanted to go in with my cynicism and my negativity and see if Elf truly deserves its status as a Christmas classic, or if it is in fact overrated. Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Ripley. Welcome to the video.
What's up, schmucks? It's that time of the year again. It's Christmas time, which means the peppermint mocha latte at Dunkin', eggnog, going broke after buying gifts for your family and friends who will either not be appreciative or get you something better that makes you feel bad, and of course, watching Christmas movies from your childhood only to realize that some of them might secretly have not been good the whole time. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you for watching, whether you be a returning member of the cult of schmucks or a new schmuck. Thank you for being here. If you end up liking this video, then by all means, leave a like. And if you enjoy this type of content, then subscribe, because I've kind of hit my groove and I'll just keep making things like this for the time being. Anyway, let's jump into it and get to our famous segment, the Inciting Incident. This year, we're continuing our tradition of the Christmas movie marathon. For those unaware, every year I try to review a handful of Christmas movies in December. And this year, I thought starting with a beloved classic would be a wonderful idea. Like I said up top, people frickin' love this movie. It's one of the classics. But call me El Niño Sin Amor, because I have no love for the classics. And by that I mean, I don't remember anything about this movie. I've only seen it maybe 3 times my whole life, and watching it for this review was the 3rd time. So given that, today we are here to assess if Elf truly deserves its perception and popularity, because as everyone knows, my opinions are the end-all be-all of film, and I am always objectively correct. And if you disagree with me, I will cry and scream and throw a tantrum, like a Twitch streamer.
This game is bad! Bad!
What a baby.
Anyway, let's get into it. Enough build-up. Time for the reveal. Does RoastTurkey like this movie? Yes. Does he think it's a really solid Christmas movie? Yes. Does he think it's as good as everyone says it is? No, not really. While I do think this is a fun movie with a lot of fun moments and some good Christmas vibes, a lot of people see this as peak Christmas movie and peak fiction altogether, and sadly I just don't agree. This is a very enjoyable movie, but it feels very bare bones. Like I'm having a hard time writing this script because this movie has a plot, but to recite that plot, it just wouldn't be interesting. It's a movie that completely hinges on a series of gags throughout the film, so just talking about it really wouldn't make it enjoyable. Buddy faffs about in the North Pole, we have some laughs, then he finds out he's human and he heads to New York to meet his dad Walter. He faffs about in New York, then he meets Jovi. He faffs about some more, and then he meets his dad's family. Then he faffs about a bit more, and he bonds with some of the characters. And then he faffs about some more until the 3rd act kicks in. And then we get the standard character tells protagonist things they don't mean, and it temporarily destroys their bond. And then everyone has to save Christmas, and we get some jokes, and then a happy little ending, and it's over. Like, this is a fun ride, and I did enjoy it. I like a lot of the faffing about, but I can't imagine myself sitting down and watching Elf every year and consistently enjoying it. It's like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I don't dislike that movie, but it's just a series of little sketches and skits that kind of tie together with the overarching narrative of the Griswolds hosting Christmas. Like, it's fun for the most part, but once I saw the gags and heard the jokes enough times, the meat and substance of the movie was just kind of lost on me. Whereas I watch Home Alone every year and consistently enjoy all of the shenanigans Kevin gets up to. But I also thoroughly enjoy the story of a kid going through the notions of being glad to be rid of his family and then immensely missing them. Plus, his arc of being a coward and then standing up to the wet bandits and protecting his house is very compelling and enjoyable. Like, yeah, it's a funny movie, but it has so much more going for it than just the jokes. I don't think twice about rewatching it. As for Elf, when I think back on it, I like a lot of the jokes and the gags, but this movie doesn't really have anything else to offer. Which means if I ever start to feel the jokes and gags weighing on me, there's nothing else here to keep me engaged. Does anyone really care about Buddy's dad dad being a Scrooge and then not being a Scrooge by the end? Does anyone really care about a half-assed romance between Buddy and Jovi? Does anyone really feel engaged by Buddy's arc of accepting himself? Actually, I really did like that. I really like Buddy. Will Ferrell is the driving force behind this movie. I know I've come off as largely negative so far, but I do like this movie, and the main reason I like it is because of Will Ferrell. He's playing a fish out of water character, which is very fun, and he brings a lot of life to it. He plays Buddy with such a cuteness and an innocence, it's impossible to not love this guy. He's like the human embodiment of Christmas spirit, which is fun when he's bouncing off of James Caan, who is just the worst in this movie.
You're taking the books back?
See, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make me feel bad, when in actuality, you're the one that missed the payments.
But the children love the books.
I love it. Will Ferrell has amazing chemistry with everybody in this movie. Like, every person he gets paired with, he bounces off of really well. This goes especially for Jovi, played by Zooey Deschanel. Zooey Deschanel is fantastic in this. I love how deadpan she is, and I really like the chemistry she and Buddy have. She's the only person who right off the bat doesn't write Buddy off for being a bit odd. Everyone assumes he's playing a bit or they just don't like him, but Jovi's entertained by him and grows to truly care about him, even after the very funny shower scene.
I really can't stay.
It's cold outside.
Get out! Don't look at me! Get out!
And the scene where Buddy asks her out is really cute.
But I really wanted to see you, and I think you're beautiful, and I feel really warm when I am around you, and my tongue swells up. Do you want to go eat food?
Do I want to eat food?
Mm-hmm. You know, the code. Food.
Well, I just had my lunch break,
Oh, okay. I understand.
but I'm free on Thursday.
Thursday! Thursday!
Come on, that'd be great.
All right.
And their date around New York is adorable and very sweet, and I truly really love it. I like all the characters in this movie, honestly, even if some of their arcs or characterizations aren't particularly interesting. I really enjoy Peter Dinklage's role in this movie.
Yes!
This entire interaction is just gold. It's so good. The way Buddy is being entirely genuine and he thinks he's being fun and welcoming, but his naivety blinds him to how insensitive and rude he is. That's amazing. It's perfect. It is a genuinely fantastically written sequence.
Does Santa know that you left the workshop?
You know, we're all laughing our heads off.
Did you have to borrow a reindeer to get down here?
Buddy, go back to the basement.
Hey, Jackweed, I get more action in a week than you've had your entire life. I've got houses in LA, Paris, and Vail.
Oh.
Moving back to the plot, the third act of this movie is probably my overall least favorite thing about it. So Santa and his sleigh crash into Central Park since people don't have enough Christmas spirit, which is set up at the beginning of the movie.
I thought the magical reindeer made the sleigh fly.
And where did the reindeer get their magic from?
Christmas spirit. Everybody knows that.
Well, as silly as it sounds, a lot of people down south don't believe in Santa Claus.
What?
But this concept just reappears out of nowhere. The rest of the movie doesn't properly establish people's lack of Christmas spirit. Buddy clearly has more of it than anybody else, but the overall lacking of spirit is never really felt to a point where this third act conflict feels earned or built to. We get a chase scene and a scene of Jovi rallying the people through song, which was teed up earlier.
I can sing, but I just choose not to sing, especially in front of other people.
Well, if you sing alone, you can sing in front of other people. There's no difference.
Actually, there's a big difference.
No, there isn't.
Walter becomes less of a Scrooge and then Christmas is saved or whatever. This is just a really basic and not interesting third act, and the central conflict that needs to be resolved doesn't feel like it was earned or properly built up to. However, we do get a handful of really solid jokes in the third act, particularly this Bigfoot joke.
There seems to be a strange man dressed as an elf wandering through Central Park.
And then this bit with the police. I love this.
Central Park Rangers.
Santa! Why are they chasing us?
I put them on the naughty list and they never forgave me.
The actual end of the movie is all really cute. Buddy and Jovi having a kid in the North Pole is cute, but I want to know how much twisting of the arm it took to get her to uproot and live in the f***ing North Pole. That's insane. For a final point to end on, I have a bunch of miscellaneous notes, so I'll just run through them all. Here we go. This movie has the same problem as the Santa Claus, where people somehow don't know Santa exists. How could they not know? Do adults just not question how presents they didn't buy end up under the tree? Insanity. I like how there's a specific Elvish slur or curse word or something. That's fun.
I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
This sounds awful, but I always think it's funny when quirky fictional societies and cultures have unique slurs and insults.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Who's scruffy looking?
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
Show us that there is something inside you that is good.
Naughty!
Like, most of this stuff is made for kids, but these characters are just calling each other weird equivalents of the N-word. That's crazy. I love these stop-motion characters. These guys are adorable.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Thanks, Mr. Narwhal.
The Santa fight in the toy store is hilarious. The Jon Favreau cameo is great, and speaking of the man himself, he truly directed the hell out of this movie. I think he did a really solid job bringing this whole thing to life. I really like the food groups joke.
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
But Buddy would have been dead a long time ago. I doubt that they have dentists in the North Pole, so bare minimum he wouldn't have teeth.
Are my braces made of sugar? Yeah, but the elf dentist insisted that it was good for my teeth.
But regardless, if you ate too much sugar, it would kill you. Granted, it would take a lot, but if this is all they eat up there, then yeah, he'd be dead. The snowball fight is really good. I think this is great. Buddy putting the star on the tree is a fun moment. Everything that happens in the mailroom is fun, especially this. And that's the end of my notes, which means this is the end of the review. So, does Elf deserve to be labeled a beloved Christmas classic? Yeah, I think it does. Even if I don't entirely love it, I think it's impossible to deny what makes this movie enjoyable and memorable. It has an amazing and incredibly lovable lead in Buddy. It has likable and easy to digest supporting characters. It has a plethora of funny and sometimes hilarious jokes that keep everything chugging along. And it's a movie that absolutely oozes Christmas spirit. However, for me personally, I do find the plot to be very minimal and largely uninteresting in spots. The character arcs for some characters to be really generic and flat, and I can't imagine enjoying this movie as much as I did if I were to watch it anytime soon. I think I need to sit back, forget about it, and then come back to it. But who knows, maybe I'll watch it next year and absolutely love it. But even if I have those problems with this movie, I think saying it's overrated would be a blatant lie. I see why everyone loves this movie, and I think it deserves to be beloved. So no, Elf is not overrated. Anyway, that's Elf. I hope you enjoyed this look into a Christmas classic, and if you did, then you're gonna want to stick around, because we're gonna be looking at even more fun Christmas movies this year. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
This concludes the video.